Hi everyone. So this video is on disappointing albums throughout the years that they were so disappointing that I still don't have them in my collection. Now, there are some disappointing albums that I ended up liking or even loving, and they include Blue Oyster Cult's Mirrors, Sparks, Terminal Jive. That was very disappointing after following number one in heaven, but I like it a lot more now. And, many albums. Even Paul McCartney with London Town, it was disappointing on first listen. And now it's one of my favorites. But these are, like I said, albums that I still don't care for at all. Really disappointing. And I asked my community last night, and some comments included Neil Young's Peace Trail, which I've never heard, John and Yoko's Sometime in New York City, The Cars Door to Door, Van Halen 3, Metallica, Reload, Standing on the Shoulder of Giants by Oasis, Father of All by Green Day, Def Leppard, Adrenalize. Try saying that first thing in the morning. This one's kind of a surprise. David Bowie's last album, Black Star. It's probably my favorite David Bowie album. Van Halen, 5150. David Bowie again with Never Let Me Down. Metallica's Saint Anger. And Nirvana, Pink Floyd, and the Monkees. So thank you for those comments. So I actually did a video last night, and then in the morning, my number one has changed because it just slipped my mind. So number one is definitely the most disappointing of all of the albums. So this is a baker's dozen, 13 very disappointing albums that even today I still don't care for. Number 13. Yeah, I love Nazareth. I think they're a very underrated band. Manny Charlton was a very underrated guitarist. And this followed Close Enough for Rock and Roll. Not my favorite Nazareth album, but I still liked it a lot. My favorite is probably Rampant. But when this came out, Playing the Game, it was almost like they were going through the motions, pretty mediocre. I don't even remember one single song from the album. I wouldn't say it was a bad album, but it was just, like I said, mediocre and disappointing. Number 12. Yeah, love early ZZ Top, and then when Eliminator came out, it's still probably my favorite ZZ Top album. Afterburner wasn't quite as good as Eliminator, but I still really liked it a lot. But when Recycler came out, that was, the title fits perfectly. They were just recycling the same sound that they did on their previous two albums. And the songs just weren't as good. So, very disappointing. For me. I wasn't laughing back in the day when I bought this. I mean, I think the album cover was a sign that, I was already concerned when I saw this album cover because, I was a big fan of Peter Frampton, of course, in Humble Pie. And then Frampton Comes Alive, the great double live album. So his next studio album, which I guess, from reading his book, he was kind of rushed into doing it by the record company. It was just really bland, some horrible songs on it, like I'm in You, which of course Frank Zappa did a parody called I Have Been in You. And yeah, but Peter Frampton is a great guitar player, and but this was not a good album. All right, top 10. Yeah, Pretenders 2. I loved the debut album by the Pretenders. I have it in my CD collection. When this came out, I don't know. And at that point, I didn't know it at the time, but of course, two of the band members were, struggling with drug issues. And even back then, when I was playing it, even though I didn't know anything about drugs, cocaine or anything, I just felt weird about the album. It sounded like a cocaine album, even though, like I said, I didn't know anything about the drug. And even today, I've tried to listen to it on Spotify, and it's like, no, I still don't care for it. I love the album cover, though. Number 9. Number 9. Number 9. Yep, Kiss, Hotter Than Hell. I bought the debut album probably the week that it came out, and I loved it. So when Hotter Than Hell came out, huge disappointment. The production the production on the debut wasn't great, but the production on Hotter Than Hell was pretty bad. And I didn't really like any of the songs. Today, I do like a couple of the songs, but overall, didn't like it. But I kept buying Kiss albums. I liked Dressed to Kill. Of course, Kiss Alive was awesome back in the day. And Destroyer was probably the last Kiss album I ever bought. Number 8. Yeah. I was a fan of John Cougar Mellencamp for many years, but this was I think it was the last album I bought. Mr. Happy-Go-Lucky. It just, once again, it felt like he was just going through the motions. The songs weren't as good as on previous albums. Yeah, so I gave up on him after this album. There might have been one or two songs I liked, and that was it. Number 7. Yeah, Ted Nugent. In the early 70s, I was buying Ted Nugent albums. Even had, when he was with the Amboy Dukes, I had the live album Survival of the Fittest, which was okay. And I loved the self-titled Ted Nugent, and then Free for All, Cat Scratch Fever. But when Weekend Warriors came out, I did not care for it at all. And I even bought the next one or two albums, and still, he'd lost it. Yeah. Number 6. Yep. I was a fan of Black Oak, Arkansas. Guess where they're from? That's right, Black Oak, Arkansas. So this was the follow-up to High on the Hog, which I loved. I still, thanks to one of my viewers, Pow, I have it in my CD collection. And I like their live album, Raunch and Roll. But Street Party as the follow-up to High on the Hog was very disappointing. But I kept buying Black Oak, Arkansas albums, and there was one, X-Rated, which I thought was probably one of their best. And then after that, I kind of gave up on them. Number 5. American Dream. American Dream. Yeah. So Much Music is Canada's MTV, and they played the video for the title of the album, American Dream, and I really liked it. I still do today. I like the song. But the rest of the album, I did not like. There were some corny songs, not just by Graham Nash, but even Neil Young. And it's just not a very good album, in my opinion. Yeah. Number 4. Once again, in the early 70s, I was a fan of Uriah Heep. The first album I bought was The Magician's Birthday, which I loved, and then Demons and Wizards, the previous album, probably still my favorite. Yeah, and then Wonderworld was just, I love the album cover, but not the music within. So it was very disappointing. And then Return to Fantasy wasn't much better, and High and Mighty, and then I gave up on them. Number 3. Boom, Dylan. That's right. Yeah, I was a big fan of Slow Train Coming. It's still my all-time favorite Bob Dylan album. So I was really looking forward to Saved. And I bought it when I was in California back in 1980. And really, really disappointing. I'm not sure. Like, I loved Mark Knopfler's playing on Slow Train Coming on the album. I'm not sure if he was on this one, but it was just lacking the great songs that were on Slow Train Coming. So, yeah. Disliked it with a passion. So number 2 was number 1 until I remembered one other album. So number 2 is... Yeah. As some of you know, I was a huge fan of U2. They were probably second to, or maybe after Sparks, but right near the top is one of my favorite bands for many years. And yeah, since 1984 when I heard The Unforgettable Fire. And then I loved, the earlier albums and everything after it. Octung Baby is my favorite. Zooropa was a little disappointing, but I still liked it enough. But pop, except for maybe one or two songs, Discotheque, I actually like that song a lot and the video for it. But the rest of it, really disappointing. Now, after that, they made a couple of albums that I really liked. No Line on the Horizon I liked. But after that, I kind of gave up on them. Number 1. Can you guess what my number 1 is? I've talked about this album before. Many times. Oh, just looking at the album cover. This was a 3-record vinyl set. And big Zappa fan for many, many years. This was the first album that really disappointed me. And I don't think I bought any other albums by him after this. And yeah, it's just bad. A bad album by Frank Zappa. And that is it. I don't even want to talk about it. I'm actually getting upset in the stomach. It's bringing back bad memories because I was so looking forward, 3 records by Frank Zappa, and it was bad. So that is it. I would love your thoughts on the albums. Maybe, some of you like some of the albums I've shown, but just my own personal opinion on them. And let me know what your most disappointing albums were. And thank you for watching. Please remember to like the video, leave a comment below, and make sure you're subscribed. Thank you. Bye.